The place Dad and a woman are going to stay is going to burn down. Don't go. My daughter suddenly said this to my husband, who was about to go on a business trip for a night or two. It's your fault for raising her to be such a disgusting child. My husband looked at her for a moment, but then quickly left the house. However, as I was looking at my cell phone that night, something incredible popped into my eyes. Please watch as my husband ignores the words of his daughter, who has a mysterious power, and will regret it for the rest of his life. My name is Christina Odom. I have been married for 8 years and am raising my 6-year-old daughter Tamara. I met my husband Lovell as a senior and junior colleague at the company where I worked when I was single. Lovell was a good communicator and a bit of a prude, but he was a good performer in the sales department and was popular with both men and women in the company. I became attracted to him, and when I remember how happy I was when Lovell asked me to go out with him. After 2 years of dating, he proposed to me, and at his request, I became a full-time housewife after marriage. Soon after that, I was pregnant with our daughter, but my husband did not do any housework or childcare. After the baby was born, I was exhausted and tearfully pleaded with him, "I still don't have time to take care of the baby. Tamara still needs a lot of help. Will you help me with the housework and babysit a little?" My husband, who had been a gentleman before we were married, replied in a decidedly uncooperative manner. "What are you talking about? You're a housewife, right? It's natural for you to do the housework and childcare by yourself." "No, I don't care about the housework, but childcare is something we both do. Are you going to make me change her diapers?"
Do you know some people earn over $10,000 a month just by posting Reddit stories on YouTube? No face, no voice, just a laptop. I do it 2 link below if you're curious.
I don't want to do that. Just shut up and do what you have to do. Don't complain to me anymore. When I tried to talk to him about it, he wouldn't take it seriously, and I gave up and thought, maybe that's just the way men are. It was difficult to do all the housework and childcare by myself without the help of my husband, but my daughter Tamara was growing up so fast that she was so cute that it didn't hurt to look her in the eye. However, while raising Tamara, I managed to have a strange experience. It must have been around the time Tamara turned 3 years old. As usual, we were going to go shopping together at a nearby supermarket, but on that day, Tamara cried out that she did not want to go. Normally, she would follow me with sparkling eyes, hoping that I might buy her some snacks. I tried to distract her with sweets and stuffed animals, but she cried and said, "I won't go, I don't want to go." I had no choice but to give up shopping that day and stay home. Then I learned on the evening TV news that there had been an accident in my neighborhood in which a runaway car had crashed into the sidewalk. The time and place of the accident was exactly on my usual path to shopping. If I had left the house with Tamara at that time, I could have been involved in a tragic accident. I looked at her with a chill down my spine, but she just smiled and laughed. Even after that, she would sometimes speak as if she could see what was going to happen. She often predicts sudden changes in the weather or tells us about small problems. A year ago, when I met my mother, who lives far away, for the first time in a long time, after I left my mother, she repeatedly appealed to me, saying, "I saw a black blur on my grandmother's breast. We have to go to the hospital." Later, I even hid from my mother that she had said so and recommended a medical checkup, which revealed early-stage lung cancer. Maybe she has some mysterious power. I gradually began to think so, and even told my husband about it, but he, who hates occult stories, just laughed it off. No way. Don't tell anyone else because they'll think you're crazy. I nodded vaguely at his words and did not tell anyone around me about her powers. I felt that it was better to keep this matter to myself so that she would not be looked at in a strange way. She is now 6 years old. She started going to elementary school this spring. But it was around that time that my husband started coming home late and not being home on weekends. He started coming home late and was not home on weekends. Up until that point, he had gone out together only on the weekends and provided family services, but even that he had stopped abruptly. After months of this, I decided to ask him. Hey you've been away from home a lot lately, are you busy at work? I've been busy working on a new business venture. I'm working hard to develop a new business. But, can't you just stay at home with Tamara a little longer? Even when you're at home, you always check on your phone. Then, his eyes changed. He stared at me with a bright red face and suddenly started yelling at me. Huh? I'm working for your living. You guys are the ones who will be out on the street if I can't work. When I was startled into silence, he continued as if to spit at me. If you understood what I said, just shut up and don't say anything about my job, okay? He ended the discussion unilaterally and went to the bedroom in a bad mood, hitting everything around him. It is true that a sales job is not a leisurely one. However, it is strange to have to work so hard that he can't take a day off on weekends for months at a time. In addition, his attitude was unnatural in any way I can think of, such as carrying his cell phone without taking it off his skin and suddenly becoming fashionable. From then on, I began to suspect him of cheating on me. However, even if he was cheating on me, I had no hard evidence, and as a housewife, I did not have the money to hire a professional. In the meantime, I honestly told a classmate of mine who was a good friend of mine when I worked there that I suspected my husband was cheating on me, and I messaged my friend to let me know if she found out anything. While I was agonizing over this, an incident occurred. That day, my husband said he was going on a business trip for 1 night and 2 days. For some reason, my husband was in a good mood and ready to go the day before. I had a hunch that he was going out with his partner, but I had no proof and could not speak to him. Tamara and I went out the front door to see him off as he put on his shoes with an excited look on his face. Well, I'm off on a business trip, Tamara, be a good girl. I was about to hand my bag to my husband and say, have a safe trip, when suddenly Tamara, who had remained silent until then, spoke up. The place Dad and a woman are going to stay is going to burn down. Don't go. A silent moment. Tamara had tears in her eyes and a serious expression on her face. It was my husband who broke the silence. Hey, what are you talking about? You're saying crazy things. He laughed through his nose, but there was a hint of impatience in his expression. You might be. Oh, do you have something to complain about? It's your fault for raising her to be such a disgusting child. What are you saying to Tamara? Take those words back. Shut up. It's time for me to go. You better educate her properly." My husband left in exasperation and I stood there in a daze. I looked at Tamara, who was standing there, tears streaming down her face. What am I going to do when my dad is in so much trouble? I was tormented by anxiety as I tried to comfort her as she continued to cry. Whenever she says something like this, something is bound to happen. But I did not know what to do with my husband, who would not listen to me. At that night, after putting her to bed, I was watching the internet news when a fire broke out at a resort hotel in a neighboring prefecture. I turned on the TV and saw a TV broadcast of the scene just as it was happening. The building was on fire from the second floor, and evacuees were running outside one after another in a panic. As I was watching the scene, an onlooker said to me, "Hey, it looks like they're going to jump down there," and the camera turned in that direction. There, a man and a woman are jumping out of a window of a room to take shelter. Moreover, the two seem to be wearing almost nothing. I was astonished when I saw the expressions on the faces of the man and woman. There they were, my husband and a woman I didn't know. They were both looking distraught, embracing each other, hands on the window sill, peering down. The fire was coming violently closer to them. The live broadcast cut out just as the two determined men were about to jump out of the window, clad in all their finery. But I could not get rid of the vivid image of them. At that moment, my cell phone rang in my sweaty hands. I opened it to find a message from a former friend of mine with whom I had previously discussed my husband's situation. There is a rumor of Lovell in the company that he is having an affair with a new employee. It seems they both took a paid day off today. I could clearly feel the blood rushing to my head. My hands were shaking and my face was getting hot. I knew he was cheating on me. I will never forgive him. While I was shocked by the shocking images I had just seen, my anger at him for cheating on me and betraying us prevailed. I immediately left Tamara in the care of my sister who lived nearby and headed alone to the emergency room in the next prefecture. When I was taken to the hospital room where he was, I found him in considerable pain, with severe burns on his upper body and his lower body in a cast. "Christina, you came." He came into the hospital room, noticed me and spoke to me. The hotel where I was traveling on business caught fire, and I jumped off the third floor to escape. In addition to my burns, I was badly injured. He said that weakly. I smiled gently, trying to keep my composure. "I'm sorry you had to go through that. The doctor said you have a spinal injury and will probably have permanent damage. I may not be able to walk, and if that happens, you'll take care of me, right?" "Well, you're my wife, so you're supposed to take care of me." "Well, I'm really glad we're married," I said to my husband, who for some reason was very proud of me, with a blank expression on my face. "But it wasn't the hotel on the business trip that caught fire, was it? You must be mistaken about the hotel where you were on your flirtatious trip." He then became visibly impatient and said, "That can't be true," and he denied it. So I confronted him with the screen of my cell phone. "Then what is this?" There was the image of my husband and his lover about to jump off the third floor in the same state as they had been born. He, perhaps seeing the image for the first time, rolled his eyes and looked at it as if he were devouring it, then muttered, "Hey, What the hell is this? They were showing the scene of the fire on TV. You guys are already internet celebrities as the couple who jumped out of a fire in the middle of the night, right? What? I guess this video has already been seen by over 100,000 people. I smiled and said to him, and his face turned paler and paler, and he began to shake and tremble. OMG, it can't be happening. You can't walk out of the house if a video like this gets around. But it's true that you were cheating on me, aren't you? It's clearer than daylight in this video, isn't it? He bit his lip and reluctantly admitted that he had been unfaithful. He kept making excuses like, I just got carried away, or, it was just a one-time thing, but I told him. I can't stay married to you after you show me this. He gets a scowling look on his face and says, Christina, I'm divorcing you. I will of course take custody of the child. My husband's face turned bright red and he attacked me. If you divorce me, tomorrow we'll have a single parent. How will you, as a housewife, manage to live with a child? I don't need a father telling his daughter she's disgusting. If I work, I can support at least one of my daughters. I will divorce you for sure. We continued to argue vehemently, but my husband became impatient when I did not change my attitude no matter what he said and started shouting. Oh no. Divorce. Don't do it. If that happens, who's going to take care of me in the future? I could get burned so badly, I might not even be able to walk. I told my husband with a straight face as we prepared to leave. Tamara warned you, didn't she? You betrayed your family, so you deserve everything you get. You're on your own at best. I left my husband nodding and went to leave the hospital room. Ugh, please, Christina, don't go. I turned around in the doorway and called out to my husband, who was sobbing and crying, his face covered in tears and snot. Oh, Lovell, I forgot to tell you. Christina. You reconsidered. I'm demanding $30,000 in alimony for the affair and child support fee, and I want you to pay it up front. I left the hospital room this time, leaving my husband screaming. After that, my husband and I were divorced. The $30,000 alimony was transferred immediately, and child support was paid on a monthly basis. My ex-husband was treated and somehow recovered to the point where he could walk. However, the after effects remained and he lost the ability to function as a man. I don't know if that was the cause, but he broke up with the woman he was having an affair with, who was also badly burned, and she went back to the countryside. He returned to work at one point but eventually resigned because it became difficult for him to stay after that video was circulated. He is now living in a shabby apartment in a distant city, working part-time day and night. I, on the other hand, used the alimony I received to move out and start a life together with Tamara. Immediately after the divorce was finalized, I saw some numbers in her drawing, so I somehow bought a lottery ticket with those numbers and won a large sum. Thanks to this, I was able to save enough money to live without any problems in the future. Her mysterious remarks like that are becoming less and less common these days because she has grown up. Still, she is my sweet daughter. I hope to continue to watch her growth from the closest point of view.